Lee Iridium. Hope you're doing all right today. The boys are back in town.
The boys are back. The boys
yes,
are back.
they are. They are. We got Jam and we got Dom. How you doing, guys?
All good, thank you.
Good.
Very good, thank you. Strong as ox.
You ready for All Killer 2001?
Oh, boom, ready.
Cool. Before we get into the show though, which everyone's been waiting for all week, as usual.
Tent hooks.
Yes, exactly. I've got to just give a big plug and a thank you to the band Paradox. I'm wearing a t-shirt here. German thrash metal band. They had a great album out this year that I reviewed, Heresy 2, End of a Legend. Brilliant thrash metal band that started in the 80s, believe it or not, and are still going today. So they sent me some gifts, which is amazing. I've got a little badge here. I don't know. I'm going to try and hold it up. My camera's a bit shit, but it's a Grim Reaper. Can you see that Grim Reaper there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool badge. You got a jacket that has loads of badges, Dom. You'd like that. I've got a CD from one of their album called oh God, I've got to pronounce this now. You know what I'm like. Pangea, I think that's called. That's an album from 2016. They sent me a limited edition Japanese CD. Ooh. And they sent me this t-shirt from their Riot Squad album from 2009. So it's got something on the back as well, which a metal t-shirt with something on the back is just, what more can you ask for? So thank you very much, Paradox. And anyone, what they've done, if you guys haven't heard them, they started in the 80s as and were compared to Metallica, but they was like at that rough edge of Metallica, you know, the early Metallica, the good Metallica. They was compared to them. And now they play just as fast, even probably faster, but they mix up with a little bit of doom as well. It's quite dark. The album cover's fucking scary, scares the shit out of me, Dom, that one.
Does it shit you up?
It shits me up, yes. It's very cool. And the whole vibe of that album.
Are there any trees on the cover?
Oh, no.
Yeah, I think it's some mountains and some trees. And
scary trees.
A creepy house.
Scary trees on one of my covers today. That's going to scare you.
Yeah, I've got some scary shit and all on mine. But yeah, thanks for the band. Absolutely great. I appreciate anything the band send me, especially t-shirts. Thank you, Paradox. Cheers, guys. Right, okay, 2001, All Killer, No Filler, Total Frustration. So if anyone hasn't watched this program before, and loads do, obviously, because we've got our big fan base that watches it. So the rules of the game are, we're up to 2001, we're working our way through the years, and we have to, obviously all the music has to come out of that year. We can't choose more than one song off of each album that we choose to put on the list. And also it has to match the track listing of the original release. It's hard. I think I'm past my hard stage now. I'm getting back. I lost my way, as I've said before on here, a big time in the through the nights, part of the 90s and the 2000s, a little bit, but now I'm getting back on track. I think it's getting a bit easier. So we actually got 12 tracks. It's got that easy. So here we go. So because it's 2001, that's Dom. He's going to start. He does the odd numbers. So track one, Dom, what you got?
Okay. Track one for me is the Choir Boys, who in the States we had to tag with the London Choir Boys, unfortunately, but all the same. They had had two albums and then either broke up, took a break, however you want to look at it. But then 2001, they had their third album come out finally. I think there's like a 7-year break or something. This song was tailor-made for me. It's the title track from their album, This Is Rock and Roll.
Yeah.
So the chorus obviously is all about rock and roll, and we all know how much I love that. This is definitely a strutting around in my pants song. It's got that. It's got that shuffle, you know. It's got that great kind of just rock and roll loveliness. Finally got to see them on this tour. They got a little bit of a push in the States, so they didn't really tour much in the States, but I did see them in LA for this album, so that was good to finally see them. Yeah, just a great opener, and as I said, just a classic. Everything I love about rock and roll, this is. So there you go.
always remember his vocals. He's got like a real. I mean, if you want to compare it to someone, Rod Stewart.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Very
But
cool.
you know, Rod Stewart wasn't always sailing and stuff. You know, back in
No.
the Faces and stuff, he was a real
Mm,
rock and roller. Looked the business.
yeah,
You know, great hair. Always wore like suits and stuff. That
Great.
whole band was fantastic. Faces.
great
but-
mullet. Great mullet.
Mm.
Yeah, absolutely.
And talking of you strutting around in your pants, I mean, Halloween's coming up soon, so perhaps we should do a Halloween special with All Killer. And you should do that. You should do that live.
Strut around in my pants for Halloween.
We should do
Only
it.
if I can wear a cape with it.
Yeah, you got it, mate. Brilliant, excellent
No,
choice.
there's no chance of that happening. That's for my OnlyFans. Sorry.
You can visit. You can visit his Facebook page if you want to see that.
Yeah,
sort of
gotta get a bit of change for that one.
stuff.
That's not free, my friend. No.
Definitely. Great one, mate. Okay, what you got then, Jam?
Yeah, Choir Boys, this is rock and roll. I was wanting contention for my #1 track. Seen them live a few times and going to see them in a couple of weeks. Well,
Oh,
start
wow.
of November, supporting the Dead Daisies, so that should be pretty good. Good
Oh,
lineup.
wow. Okay.
So, look forward to that. Cool. Right, mine's slightly different, and I guess you call them post grunge. I'm going with Puddle of Mud from their Come Clean album, and it's Control. Love this song. This is another classic jam Friday or Saturday night, whatever it is, blasting tunes out. I always put this on. There's actually 2 tracks off here. I could have picked either one. The other one's a bit later on, so I won't name that. But yeah, love this song. In fact, it's sort of grungy, I suppose you could call it. But I mean, I don't know what sort of band Puddle of Mud are. They're called post grunge, aren't they? They're sort of just rock and roll. They're a bit dirgy, they're a bit sludgy, I suppose you call them. You know, not in a doom sense, but you know, that sort of drony, I guess. But no, Control,
Like
great song.
Came out of a puddle of mud. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But great chorus, sing along. You know, obviously not particularly cheery, being that sort of music, but you know, it's got a good video as well, if I remember. I think it's something to do with the big old American truck or something. Some sort of might be wrong on that, but
Yeah, I mean, I haven't got any more songs off of this. I mean, I did like their other single off of this.
yeah, that's Blurry, isn't it? That's what it's good.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty good. And I think they probably got the most views on a video from his latest vocal performance of about a year ago.
Yeah.
That's great. wasn't
Yeah,
it? I'm not. No, I'm not.
We all know
listen,
exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, but it's just one of those things. You get older, don't you? But you try too hard sometimes. I think that was his problem with that. You know, when you, sometimes you've got to, when you get older as a vocalist, sometimes it's just lower your register a little bit. I mean, I think Bruce Dickinson's done that on the last album, probably realizing, looking back maybe at the last few albums and hearing himself and adjusting and doing things differently instead of just trying to do it how you did back fucking 30 years ago or whatever.
Yeah. It's probably not that old though, is he? To be fair, I mean, if it's only coming out, I don't know if it's the first or second album, so it's probably only not much older than me.
Yeah, that's right.
It's probably only about
I like
50.
the story of the singer when he jumped on the luggage carousel in an airport and was riding that around for a while before they tried to arrest him.
Oh, right. Okay, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, he's got a few kooky stories. That one, West something or other. Yeah.
yeah, very cool indeed. Cheers, Jan. Bit of a blast from the past for me, that one as well. So that's good. Okay, I'm surprised that none of you got this. I'm a bit, whether you don't know about it or not. So Bruce Dickinson, he had a Best of Bruce Dickinson album out,
He did.
and a song, unreleased song, obviously just came out on this album because we're not allowed to talk about songs that go on compilations and all that bollocks unless it's a new song. And it's a song called Broken, and it's maybe the heaviest thing he's ever sang on. I would say it's really like real heavy metal riffing. And by the way, I hadn't heard this until last week when I was getting my list together.
Okay.
And I thought, will there be an unreleased track on there? Not really sure. Yep, the first track, and man, it is just so heavy. It's got some slight, I mean, obviously when you hear Bruce's voice, you just, you know, it's just, you can't think of anything else but Maiden sometimes, can you? You just relate it to that. But it also has got some little melodies through there that sound a bit Maiden-y. But Maiden-y? Is that a new word for me?
Sure.
Yeah, maybe, yeah, why not?
but the riffing, it's so heavy. Obviously, Dom, you've heard this one.
I have, to be honest, I haven't heard it for a while. I did have the best of CD, and I did listen to it in my car quite a bit when that came out, but I haven't heard it since.
Yeah, it's
probably
really,
early
it's probably the heaviest thing I think that he sang on, because of the Maiden ain't usually about riffs, are they? They're about guitar melodies more than riffing, heavy riffing. But obviously, the guitar is really ramped up on this more than Maiden do it, and it just makes it ultra heavy, really. So Bruce Dickinson, if you haven't heard it, Broken's just heavy as fuck. It really is.
Cool.
There you go. Okay, that's my track one.
Yeah, I kind of wish I tried on a few different occasions, but it's always way towards the end of whatever album it's on is The Man You Love to Hate, which is Jeff Tate, Dickinson, and Halford all singing on that song. And it was like a soundtrack, but it's been on some best of and stuff. But it's always like track 17 or something, so I could never put it on. But that's pretty cool as well. And I think it might be on this best of. But anyway, very cool.
Very cool indeed. Very cool. Okay.
All right, keeping it heavy. We got Slayer, God Hates Us All, which came out on September 11th, which was a bit spooky. But it was a return to form. A lot of people feel probably a lot of people's favorite album since Seasons in the Abyss. They toured the hell out of this. I think I saw them about 5 times on this tour. And they always open with this song, which is actually number 2 because it's a little blurby, first track. It's called Disciple, but it might as well be the title track because the chorus is God Hates Us All. So that's obviously where they got the name of the album. It is a great Slayer tune. I think they did it the last time I saw them on the final tour as well. So it's a song that's stuck for 20 years with them. But yeah, it's a good one. I can't say that the album was, I think a few albums after this, they actually kind of really got back into the Slayer groove, from my personal opinion. This was a decent album, but I wouldn't say it was like, in the classic pantheon, which some fans probably think so. But I do love this track. And it's all, as I said, it was the opener for a few shows. So I have those memories of God Hates Us All. That's good. All right. So there you go.
Very
cool.
Very cool indeed. Very cool. All right. What you got then, Jam?
Yeah, well, I should have said before, Puddle of Mud won't be appearing again. That's the only album I've got. I've actually got four bands today that will only have one song in this list and never appear again. So this is the second one. And I was torn on track 2 because I had 3 really good ones I wanted to pick. I won't mention the others, of course, but until the end. But I went with this one. There's 2 literally they play every time you go to like a rock club or download on the Wednesday night in the pub and all that. And I've gone with this one probably because I've heard it slightly less. And it's Soil with Halo from the Scars album. It's just a classic rock club sing-along. It's crazy that the other one I was going to mention is the same track 2 on the same album, come out the same year, and both songs they usually play at these sort of things. I guess they're new metal, I guess you call them. I don't think there's any solos in them, but really heavy sing-along, but good. I mean, I want to check out Soil. I do like this song. If the rest of it's like that, they're probably pretty good, but yeah, Halo, just one that would have been rotated on MTV, Kerrang, whatever was playing. It wouldn't be MTV, would it? Kerrang or Scuzz or whatever was playing at the time. Video to it, and yeah, good. I like it. Yeah.
Cool.
I won't mention the other ones, but very heavy. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, very heavy band. Okay, good one, mate. I'm going heavy as well. Iced Earth, one of my favourite bands, obviously. They brought out an album called The Horror Show on this year, and obviously all related to each track took either a film or a book or of horror, and usually about an actual character, and sometimes the character's name was the name of the song. This one was called Damien, and it fucking shits me up, this song. So this is actually, I think I did an Iced Earth best, like our favourite tracks with Mark, and I think this was my second favourite track from Iced Earth.
Even though it scares you.
It does scare me. I'll tell you why it scares me. So it's just, for one, there's the heaviness of the song. Matt Barlow and his he does that sort of blood curdling scream throughout the song, which is very fucking cool. The riffs are just so dark and heavy as well.
Mhm.
But what they've done, they've taken parts of, whether it's the film or the book, I don't know what came first, to tell you the truth. I'm not really sure. You might know that, Don. Was that the
As
Omen
far as I
based
know,
on
it's a film, but
Yeah.
So there's some bits in the film that are said in this.
so bits of dialogue then.
Yeah, so the
The
chorus.
original film, but not the remake, I presume.
Well, they do it in both. They do it in the remake as well. This part. So it's obviously from the original film, because this was in. It might have been before the remake, but if you guys remember, if you've seen the film a lot, the chorus is like when the Jews return to Zion and the comet fills the sky. That part where they're saying that the Antichrist is coming, that sort of thing. So that's through, which is very cool, the way it just fits into the chorus. And then they got bits out of. They must have based it on all the films, because they got bits out of the third film with Sam Elliott in it, when he has does he have a woman or something?
Final conflict, yeah.
The final conflict, and he's talking about the cursed Nazarene and all that, talking about the Jesus and all that. So I mean, it's very creepy, very heavy, and with those bits in it, one of my favorite films, horror films. Absolutely, you creeped me out when I was younger, and don't know, it just brings it all back to me. Makes me scared, but I love it. It's fucking brilliant. Iced Earth, Damien, dark, scary as fuck. There you go.
Cool.
Right.
Is it an epic track? Is it very long, or?
Thinking about it, it's probably about 5.5, 6 minutes.
All right. Well, not, yeah.
I mean, on that album, you've got Dracula.
All right.
You've got Frankenstein.
Frankenstein, yeah, okay.
Frankenstein, sorry, yeah. So there's a lot. It covers.
No, I'm kidding.
It covers all those the bases of mainly older
All right.
horror. It's very cool. Listen, naturally. So
Cool. All right.
that sort of thing goes. You wouldn't think it would work, do you? Horror-based album sometimes, and it's all about different horror films, but it's fucking brilliant. I love it. There you
Cool.
go.
If I ever listen to an Iced Earth album, this would probably be the one for me.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, it won't be a new one, would it?
No.
No. Mm-mm.
Okay. Track 3, guys. What you got?
Track 3. Okay, this one has a checkered history. This is Danger Danger. This was originally supposed to be their third album. They recorded it with their regular singer Ted Poley, who was on the first two albums. So they had recorded it, and then they fired him. Then they brought in another guy named Paul Lane and re-recorded all the vocals. Right?
Great singer.
Yeah. Record all the vocals, and then Ted Poley sued him when they tried to release it. They were still signed to Sony at this time, believe it or not. And this would have been 94, 95. So it would have been their third album, as I said. But he sued them, and Sony said, well, we're not going to deal with a fucking lawsuit. We're just not going to release it. You're already pretty much expired as far as being released on a major label in 1994, being Danger. Obviously, they didn't want to get into any hassle. So it just got shelved for years. And then finally this year, 2001, they released a double CD. First one with Ted Poley, second one with Paul Lane. This is the Paul Lane version. No disrespect to Ted Poley, but I had to pick one. And actually, it's the same tracks, but they changed the track listing on all the songs. So each one has its own flow and stuff, whatever. I love this song. It's called Good Time. And it's basically pop metals bands response to grunge in 1994. So Good Time, ain't nothing wrong with a good time. Don't have to be, looking at your shoes or whatever. So it's great. It's a real blast from the past, but I don't know. I think good melodic rock is pretty much classic, depends on the production and stuff, but this is fantastic. So 2001, we got the third Danger album, which is funny because it ended up being their sixth album, really, because they had a few after, between the two, but it's great. So there you go. Danger. The album is called Cockroach.
Yeah, he's definitely my favorite vocalist for them, Paul Lane.
Yeah.
He brings a real fun feel to it as well, doesn't he? The band, even more, very melodic, And of course, he does the Defiant stuff as well, doesn't he?
The Defiance, yeah. And I was never a big Danger Danger fan, to be honest. They were just part of that whole glut of bands. Obviously that I love the genre, but we all know there was just there were 20 new bands every week, so you just couldn't keep up, or you just made your choices about which ones you liked on first listen. Danger Danger never really got me, but for this third album, they dumped they fired their keyboardist, or he left or whatever, so they were just a 3-piece, so there wasn't a whole lot of funny keys in there, so it's a bit more basic rock and roll, which is more my style anyway. But when I got that, I got the Defiance record a few years ago, thought it was brilliant, and I'm like, oh wow, this is like Danger Danger guys. So I went and checked out the discography. The first 2 albums, well, the second album's okay, screw it. But this one I thought was the best one I heard. So there you go.
Yeah, brilliant. They definitely brought the party sort of vibe to that. He's with his vocals, absolutely brilliant vocalist. Superb.
Yeah, the Defiance, fantastic, man. Love that.
Yeah, they are. Okay, what you got there, mate?
Okay, going back to band I've had a couple of times, and it is a band that was lumped in with the new metal, but they're a bit more than that, and that's Incubus with their fourth album. Anyways, supposed to be their best album, supposedly. A lot of people's fan favourite. That's Morning View, and it's the song "Wish You Were Here," which was pretty big song, I think, at the time. It's quite mellow, certainly not one of their heavier tracks. A lot of it's quite trippy, and there's a lot of sort of scratching and stuff like that. There's no rapping. They were never really rapping, singing. There's always there's a little bit of that in it, which I think adds to it. It's of the time, isn't it? But it's a classic song. They always play when they really see him live. Brandon Boy's vocals are always really good, and it's just good to have some really good tracks in here. There's other ones I could have picked I won't mention, but it's a great album.
You are right. You are right about the band. I think you said before they're hard to categorize, isn't they? Not that you want to categorize everyone, but sometimes you want to explain what a band sounds like. And I find it hard sometimes with certain bands, but definitely that band for sure.
Well, and also they probably you get hampered by putting labels. They probably be labelled as new metal, and then people who think, "Oh, don't listen to that rubbish," would rule them out. But they're certainly not like that at all. I mean, obviously got elements of funk in there on some of their earlier stuff, and it's mostly rock now. There's not so much of the scratching or any of that in there. They're never doing rapping like bloody Limp Bizkit or anything like that. But great band. If no one's heard them, some definite rockers on there, and they're still going now, of course, and done some. I think they've done an album for a couple of years now, so they're probably due one actually, I expect. But seen them many times live as well. Very good.
Very cool. Very cool indeed. Cheers, mate. I'm going back to a band that I did have a couple of their songs, but I didn't have them on last year's. So they're obviously bringing out quite a few albums, and I mentioned them obviously twice before. Balance of Power, the British band, are back.
British faith-based band.
Yes. I'm not sure if they dropped the faith-based lyrics in the end. I'm not really sure, but in this stage, they're getting heavier and probably a lot more progressive at this stage. So this is called, the actual album's called Perfect Balance, and the song's called Firepower. So, I mean, there's classic metal riffing, although it's progressive at times. It runs through the chorus, a great riff that runs through the chorus. I would say that listening to them at this stage, and I did listen to them dotted about at odd stages, on their albums, but didn't listen intently at the time. But you can hear a massive difference in where they came at this stage from their sort of AOR beginnings, if you like. And this is, I mean, if ever you Queensryche fans would love this album and this song. It's it's got that brilliant balance. No, I didn't actually mean that, but it has got a brilliant balance of like metal power, with not too much progression, like Queensryche. Where I can't stand music if it's too progressive. It just sounds all over the place to me. But I think where Queensryche have that balance, perfect balance of it, these guys have got it as well at this stage. It's just, I've said it again.
Is that why they called it Perfect Balance?
I don't know. Perhaps that had something. Perhaps that did have something to do with their music and the way they were heading. I don't know. But obviously, getting more and more progressive at this stage. I don't think they're together anymore. But this is I'm thinking of getting all their stuff again, probably on Spotify, and having a good listen, because perhaps back then I thought, oh, that sounds good, but now I might appreciate it even a little bit more. They sound brilliant on this. So there you go. Firepower by Balance of Power. Firepower, Balance of Power, perfect balance.
Wow. That's 3 times fast.
Okay. Where you got them done?
Okay, number 4 is one of well, that's just a legend, isn't he? Ozzy Osbourne. We've got an album called Down to Earth. This is his 8th album, 8th solo album overall. I can't say I love this album, but there is a track here. I don't know how it ended up on the Essential Ozzy Osbourne, but I was working in a record store at the time. There was the double CD that came out, Essential Ozzy Osbourne. For some reason, this song made it on. It's called No Easy Way Out. It wasn't a single as far as I can see, but it's a great song. So we played that a few times in the store, and I heard that and I was like, oh shit, that is a great song. I actually went back and listened to Down to Earth this last week, and it's not that strong, to be quite honest, but I do fucking love this song. It's a strange time because from what I read, Ozzy didn't really want to make this album. He was happy just touring with Ozfest every summer and kicking back, but Sony asked for an album, so he's like, okay. Zach came back for this, having not been in the band for 8 years, I think, that time that Joe Holmes was in the band, where there wasn't any new music, so you never got Joe Holmes on a record, but he has about 4 or 5 co-writes on this, so obviously he was writing for the album. And Zach didn't write at all for this album, but he came back and played guitar, so it's a bit convoluted, but it's a fantastic song, No Easy Way Out, one of his best latter-day tracks that I ever heard of Ozzy, so it happens to make it at number 4. There you go.
Very cool. Jam doing a bit of research now, look.
No, I'm just writing that down.
Put it on your list. Put it on your...
Yeah, because I
No Easy Way Out, it's called, yeah.
I got Gets Me Through was a contender for track 1 because I do like that
right.
song, but yeah, I wasn't too impressed with the album. It's not one of my favourites. I'll check that one out again. I'm sure I would have heard it at the time.
Quite a good
Okay.
song, yeah.
Cool,
Let's go to one of my favourite bands, and I'm just a bit sad actually. Just as you said, an English band on your list, I just realised I haven't got any English artists on here. I've only got 2 Europeans, and let's go with the first one. And that's
And the rest are all fucking Americans, huh?
Yeah, well, yeah.
It's like the opposite. I was doing all American during the 80s, and you were doing all English, I think.
Pretty much. Yeah. Oh well. Sorry, yeah, Opeth from Sweden and the classic Blackwater Park. I talked a little bit about a lot of the big, massive Opeth fans think Still Life is actually better than Blackwater Park, which was our previous album. But this one's very similar, and this is definitely when they're full on proggy now. We're talking, well, there's 8 songs on here, and 1, 2, 3, 4 of them are sort of 8 to 12 minutes long. But there's so much more clean singing on this. I don't know if there's a full song with clean singing. There's certainly interaction. There's some with very few. There's some with like Blackwater Park, the title track itself. I'm sorry if anyone's got that, but that is got a little bit of harsh vocals, but mostly clean singing. And this is another song that's like, it's my favourite song on the album. It's the Drapery Falls. Sorry, it's
Well,
just
that's a big
classic.
one.
Yeah, it's like
Very
I think the
popular.
second longest song on here. I was thinking, when I heard the title, I was thinking sort of Sherlock Holmes and a waterfall and all this, and it wasn't until I realised drapery is at curtains, isn't it? So it just means the curtains fall, obviously, at the end of the show. So anyway, that's me being stupid. But this song is like a lot of Opeth songs, or you've got to describe them as beautiful. This song just has passages of great instrumental. It starts off with a bit of harsh vocals, loads of time change, loads of different bits to the song, and then just goes into a lovely slow passage in the middle, and then obviously and then has a louder bit at the end, and it's just classic Opeth. I don't know if it's I don't think they play it every show, but they do play it. It is one of the ones they play a lot. But they've got so many songs like this, they tend to mix it around. But yeah, Drapery Falls, if you've never heard it, it's probably could be my favourite Opeth song at all, really. So
Oh, really? Wow.
yeah, I can't think of many. I mean, I think so. Yeah, could be. Yeah.
Cool.
They probably come out. They probably come out live and play 4 songs, and that's the end of the gig.
Well, when they play down though, the Electric, they played something like Ghost of Perdition. I think they're doing the Sorceress tour, so they did a couple of songs of that were shorter ones. They did Ghost of Perdition and about one other. So yeah, they played about 5 songs. So they had 40 minutes.
Yeah, well, I don't mind long songs as long as they're, you know, I've said this before, and
They go somewhere.
They're done right and they go somewhere. And obviously, being a long song, they can't do the same thing for 12 minutes. They got to twists and turns, almost as if it's 3 songs. That's how you've got to have a long song, isn't it?
Yeah.
So there you go.
My favorite memory of this song is being in this happened before lockdown, right before lockdown, being in a Manchester rock pub with a jukebox, and somebody put this on at 10 o'clock on a Saturday night.
Oh, cool.
But, it kind of brought the vibe down a bit.
Is that the song?
Everybody just kind of looking at each other like, is this still on? It just wasn't the right atmosphere for.
Is that the one by
the
station? Is that Salisbury? Is it Salisbury? I've been to a Manchester rock pub. I think it's quite a famous one. Salisbury Arms.
This was Grand Central. There's 2 of them that are pretty close to each other. It was either one because we were a bit on a bit of a crawl, but anyway, it was just hilarious for a Saturday night.
It's a slower one. It's not, definitely a slow pace song.
It's not one on Jam's getting ready to drink Friday night list. No matter how much you like it, it's not, it's not a party song.
Not quite the same, but don't you love just going into a normal pub and just putting anything metal on? It's just brilliant, isn't it? You know, I mean, people are like, what the fuck is this? Brilliant. Absolutely excellent. Okay. I'm going to, obviously, this guy has already appeared on the list. Dom's going to pronounce his name for us. One of the best singers around at the moment, metal singers.
Jorn Londe.
Yes, Jorn Londe.
Oh, sorry, Jorn.
Jorn Londe.
I still can't get it right, even when I'm trying to get it right.
So I think on his first album, which I did mention, it might have been last year or the year before, I can't remember. He was sort of finding his feet as a solo artist. I think even the stuff he was doing sort of guesting on was probably better than that album. But I think this is one of the best albums he brought out. His second album called World Changer. Which has got some brilliant tracks on it. This is a ballad, of course it is, called House of Cards, and it's just a fantastic song, man. It's sort of a little bit progressive as well. I think he had more of that in him back then, that sort of progressive side, because he started to go with Master Plan at that time as well, a little bit after this, and a bit more now. He's more straightforward, isn't he? More like Dio. Covers the Dio Whitesnake metal more. He sounds that sort of thing now. But back then he had a little bit more progressive side of him. But man, this had so many tracks on it I could have chosen. House of Cards is the one because it's just an amazing epic ballad, and it's got Jorn Londe in it. And there you go. He's just one of the best vocalists around. And his voice doesn't seem to, he's one of these guys, isn't he? Even though you look at, he's another one where I think, oh yeah, one of the best new vocalists. This is fucking 2001. He's already been on he's already been going a few years. But but he's kept his voice now. He's just as brilliant now. So House of Cards off of World Changer. It's a brilliant song. I think.
Even went for Eurovision last year or this year.
He did. He did. Yeah, he didn't.
He didn't make it to Sweden's choice, but
no.
Good for him for at least trying.
Yeah. Well, there's been a few. Eclipse tried that. As well, the year before, I think they was
did they?
Yeah. So yeah,
we got 2 Swedish bands. Number 4 then.
Yeah, 2 Swedish bands. Yeah, very cool, indeed. Very cool. Jorn is the bollocks, man. He really is.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. He should definitely call you up for a conversation.
I'd love that. I have messaged him. He ignores me. So there you go.
What did he wake up and do today? Come on. He could talk to you for an hour over a cup of coffee. It's not that big of a deal.
Agreed, mate. Jorn.
Come on, Jorn.
We won't call you Jorn again if you come on and talk to me. How's that?
Jorn again. That's a different band altogether, isn't
it?
Oh, yeah. Jorny. Yeah. He could join like a Journey tribute band and they could call.
Anyway.
Okay, enough nonsense. Okay, number 5 is Pink Cream 69. Believe it or not, this is their 8th album.
Fucking hell.
Blimey.
And it's actually Andy Darris, who left to join Helloween. He was only on the first 3. So they've had this singer for 5 albums already in 2001. His name's David Redman, and he's an Englishman, actually. And he sings in Voodoo Circle as well.
Yeah.
You know them?
Yeah.
You know them, I assume. Yeah. I've got one of their records, which I think is pretty good.
They're almost
This album's
like
called Endangered.
they're almost a Whitesnake tribute band. Almost. They love
Oh,
White.
do you think that?
Well,
I guess. I mean,
well-
there are quite a few modern-y bands that, you know, that are trying to recapture that kind of rainbow early Whitesnake feel. And more power to them, man. Keep releasing shit.
I
I'm
agree. I
fine
know.
with it.
I love it. I love it. I think it didn't start out as that as much, but they've slowly got
Progressed a bit.
the Coverdale. I mean, even the breathing now. Oh yeah, it's very much like that. Yeah, the
Ooh, baby.
Oh,
Yeah,
don't.
anyway,
You're fucking turning me on, man, doing all that heavy
Oh.
breathing.
Good thing we filmed Waist Up. This is called, the album is called Endangered, and the song is called Don't Need Your Touch. What can I say? It's just melodic hard rock. I don't have all of their catalog. Obviously, they have quite a few. I have bits and pieces here and there. But yeah, this is a great tune from a great record. So if you don't know them or are kind of put off by their name, or don't be silly, whatever. They are a great melodic hard rock band that's been making terrific tunes for, well, now it would have been about 30 years, I guess. I think the first album was 89. So there you go, Pink Cream 69. Or if you're a Helloween fan and wondered where Andy Darris came from, they're still doing it.
I think sometimes, I don't know about you, because of the amount of music, it sometimes get overwhelmed when you hear someone say it's like their 8th album or something. You know, if you've not heard any of their stuff and someone says they've got 13 albums, you're like, oh fuck, you know what I mean? That's just
No, I know. That's why
maybe like, you know, check out the strongest album or something like that, and then you might
Best of or something. Yeah.
start. You can start with Endangered, man. You wouldn't be disappointed. So put that on YouTube or something and check it out while you're doing the dishes.
Well, I've got a
See,
new
very
band to
cool.
check out. I always go to setlist.com and look at what they play live, and then do a best of from there. Really, that sort of thing.
Yeah, you are
or a
very
best
good
of
with
albums.
Yeah,
With
good
all
one.
your festivals and stuff, you are very good with that. I used to do that as well. If I knew that there were bands that I didn't really know, but they're going to be playing, and I'll be checking them out and not knowing
Yeah,
if I'm going to like them, I would definitely check them out beforehand and try to get at least a bit.
And
familiar
also,
with them.
if you're going to see one of these bands they usually play the same set on a tour, don't they, or near enough?
Yeah.
So by the time they come round to your town, you know half the songs, don't you? So very cool.
You can sing them back to them. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, very cool. Good one, mate. Another band that's rocking it through those rough years. There you go.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, what you got in, Jam?
Okay, well, we had double Sweden last time. We got double Germany now. And, well, we had some different types of music today. Now we're going industrial with Rammstein from the album Mutter. And it's probably their most famous song, but it's one of my favourites. It's when you don't like a band, when you're not into a band massively, and, you know, I suppose you call yourself a casual fan, you like the big songs still. So this is one of the biggest, Firefly. It's a classic. I guess all the massive Rammstein fans are going, oh, there's better songs than that to play. But yeah, I like it. As I say, as a casual, more don't listen to them so much. This is a good song. Great live. There's obviously loads of flames going every time they get to the chorus. And yeah, it's got some great songs on this album. I think I can mention them because they've already gone. Sonner, Nick Villa on here as well. So there's some big songs on this album. I think it's probably they're supposedly their best album. I say, not being a massive fan, I couldn't tell you, but certainly this is a very sing-alongable if you know German, or if not, you just pretend that you know what they're singing. Could be singing anything, but I presume it's Fire. But yeah.
No, I mean, I've heard parts of their discography, especially like around this. I think it's their best album from what I've heard. So yeah, some very cool. Do fucking brilliant videos and all, don't they? I mean, the Sonner video is just one of my favorite videos ever. That's just amazing, isn't it? That video.
Yeah.
No, very cool indeed. I've seen them live as well, by the way. I did
Yeah,
tell you
me
before,
too.
didn't I?
Really good.
Nearly said, this is why. This is why.
Yeah, too close to the flames.
Exactly. I'm gonna fucking sue you wankers. There you go. Right. Okay. I'm actually going to Sweden. There you
Ooh,
go.
Back to Sweden again.
A band that have an album out today, which is brilliant. I love this band, Eclipse. Wasn't into them at this stage, so I've had to go back because the next album, the third album was where I started getting into this band and was just hooked. So I think they were really finding their feet a little bit at this stage on their first album. The Truth and a Little More is the album. I Believe in You is the song. And yeah, it's got those sounds. This one, more than a lot of the songs on the album, is starting to get that Eclipse feel. Sort of, this has a sort of AOR feel to it as well. A bit of a Journey vibe for me, but very catchy. But it's not got there. They sort of starting to get a little bit more metal in there, like after this. Do you know what I mean? More guitars, but you can hear the sound of the band starting. It's quite interesting to hear a band progressing. I love it when a band starts, I said this before, and with a debut album that smashes the rest out of the park. This band have got stronger and stronger as they've gone on, and the new album is just mind-blowing. It really is. So I Believe in You from The Truth and a Little More. Great song, great AOR track. If you're a fan of Eclipse, you probably know it anyway. But there you go. That's my track 5. All right.
All right.
Okay.
Good. Wow, track 6. We're not even halfway there. Jesus. Okay. All right. Number 6 for me is a band making first appearance, but I've been a fan. Haven't really said much on this channel just because I don't know. But I think this song really fits. It's Marillion. It's from their album Anorachnophobia. This is obviously, let's see, it's their 12th album overall, 8th album with Steve Hogarth. This is considered the very first crowdfunding album ever. They were kind of pioneers in that, asking the fan base to pay in advance so they can record an album. And then obviously when it comes out, you get it, you know. So if you're going to buy an album, you might as well support them leaving the major label and doing it their own way. So they were the first band to really do that. So commendable in that way.
Very cool.
The reason I think this song's called Separated Out. And obviously we know that Marillion are called a prog band. Certainly were when Fish were on. Hogarth is a bit of a different animal. I actually prefer them with Hogarth. Nothing against Fish. But I prefer them with Hogarth. It's kind of just more my thing. But this song is just a straight ahead 4/4 rock song. So I don't feel weird about putting it on our channel. It's I can imagine this would be a good like closer or maybe first encore song to really get the crowd pumped, because it's just they don't have too many of these. A lot of their stuff is very mellow and stuff. I like it personally, but I don't know about being on a hard rock and metal show. But this song is definitely just terrific, short to the point song. So there you go. Separated Out by Marillion.
To tell you the truth, the prog stuff, I sort of wish there was a prog sort of fan amongst us, really, because I mean I think we should cover that because it's a big part of rock, isn't it? You know, prog.
Well, I mean, I love Genesis, and Yes was on my very first 1981. Don't know, just
No, I think it because I mean this is a rock and metal, not particularly heavy rock. So if anyone wanted to,
I know, but if you get too funny with it, then you end up with,
yeah,
I'm not going to mention any bands or anything, but
yeah,
it gets a bit silly when you get, when AOR is taken just to pop. I mean, you can call it whatever you want.
Yeah. I agree. Good one though, mate. Thanks for that. What you got in, Jam?
No, John, I was just going to say, brilliant. Now they've done so many albums with him. Do they not play any Fish songs at all when they play now? Just out of interest. I mean,
well, now, I mean, the catalog greatly engulfs the things they did with Fish. I would be surprised. They might throw one or two as an encore, but they're so far removed from that now.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, when did Fish leave? In 87 or something? So we're looking at A long, long time.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Cool. Right. Sorry, I'm America all the way now, and I'm going to another band that I will never appear again. And it's actually one I've only heard in the last 2 years, but it's a band. I think they're a bit controversial. I think I don't know why. I don't really know anything about it particularly. A band called Dope. I know they're sort of perhaps it's call them a bit of a joke band, not joke band, but I don't know. They've got negative stuff said about them. And the album's called Life, and the song's called Die Motherfucker Die. But the reason I know it because Machine Head released a song called "Do or Die" in 2019, and everyone got up in arms because they reckon they'd ripped off this band Dope because it's got the chorus of "Do or Die" says "Die Motherfucker Die" in the middle. So I went back and listened to this song, and gone. They say the same lyrics. It's not the same song. And I'm sure Machine Head don't need to be copying a band called Dope. So, but anyway, when I went back and listened to it, I really liked it. So it's just once again a Friday night, Saturday night song.
Oh, yeah, Die Motherfucker Die. Yeah, it really gets you in the mood.
Yeah, it's just a bit of fun. So and it came out track 6. I put it on my list of tracks to include when I got to that year. I met before we started this, and I thought that was on 2001, and it fitted in. So I thought, there you go, Dope, Die Motherfucker Die from Life. Check it out, party song. If anybody knows any controversy about Dope, I know they get slated a bit. I don't really know anything about them, but and I don't know if they're still going or not. But you don't really hear about them at all. So.
Well, isn't the fake Wayne Static? Isn't that the singer from Dope?
Oh wow, that could be. Oh.
I believe so.
Yeah, so I've heard that.
The one that wears the mask, the Wayne Static mask. Yeah. I think that's the Dope guy.
Yeah, I was still when you said about this last time. So Static X have got a singer that wears a mask, which is the face of
the dead singer.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's nothing. The singer's gone. There's no reason they can't come out. If the band is still going, there's no reason they can't come out and play if they want to. With a new singer, bands do it all the time. So I think it's quite cool. I think it's all right.
No, I don't mind the new singer. I just don't understand why he just ain't having his own face.
Just himself, not wearing the mask of the dead one.
Yeah, but they're sort of industrial.
It's a bit odd,
they're not really about a front man, are they? They're industrial band, not the Static X, I guess so. I don't know. I've never seen them live, but I presume it's not really about the individual, it's about the music. I guess I don't know.
I don't know enough about
I understand that it kind of gives you pause, Lee. It's a bit odd.
Listen, I don't know a lot about the band anyway. I actually love it when singers singers come into bands and try and stamp their own thing on it. But
he's definitely not putting his own stamp on it. He's just being Wayne Static with the mask and everything.
Okay, all right, cool.
Anyway, moving on.
Yes, moving on. Right, okay. It's just a bit weird for me, that's all. So, okay. Track 6 for me. I've been to this band once before. Swiss band, Chakra, not to be confused with Shakira.
Or House of Shakira.
Or House of Shakira. This is a song called In Your Eyes from the Power Ride album. Now, I think you'd like this, especially Dom. Got a bit of an AC/DC Scorpions vibe to it for me. And they've always got that sort of AC/DC, that real sort of tight rhythm section about this band. And that's and they do take a little, I think I've said before, they take a little bit of stick about sounding similar across albums. They've got that sort of medium paced sort of rhythm going on a lot of their songs. But like I said, fans of the band probably love it, and then when you switch to something different, they fucking hate it, don't they? So why not? And I think they were especially good in their early years, and this is one of their early albums, Power Ride, which is great. It's just really solid all the way through. I said Swiss band, so a little bit different, but great all the same. Chakra, In Your Eyes from Power Ride. There you go.
All right, Chakra. I've got a Chakra album. They're still around, aren't they?
Yes, they are. I listened to
a fairly recent one that I liked, but
yeah, I mean, I think their vocalist for me he's suffering a little bit now. From what I heard last time, his voice has lost a bit of power in his voice. He's got the same sort of sounding voice, but the power, that he needs. But I'm not having a go at them. They've been going quite a few years, but I used to listen when I was in my famous band that played with Iron Maiden. Don't worry, Dom, I don't think he was there for that story. Anyway, I used to lose my voice on the night. Like, I was struggling because I sang wrong, apparently. I didn't sing from the chest, I sang from my throat, and I couldn't work out how to keep my voice. And literally by the end of the night, I couldn't even fucking speak. So
weren't the fags and the booze then?
it was good. The booze was involved a lot, yeah. But I don't know. Even in band practice, so it was really hard for me to keep my voice. I suppose there's a special way you get trained or something to keep it. I don't know, but you know, that's me and fucking hell. We weren't going for years like some of these bands. So I can totally understand how singers can suffer. You know what I mean? But there you go, Chakra, In Your Eyes from Power Ride. Track 7, guys.
Wow, halfway there.
Yes.
50 minutes and halfway. Oh dear.
I'm gonna keep my reviews kind of short because this is gonna be a freaking marathon of a video. All right, number 7 is Gilby Clarke. I mentioned him before. This was his 4th and final album. Until actually this year he released one. I haven't heard it yet, so I can't comment. This album's called Swag. Good roll of albums for him. I was actually gonna. The name of the song is Judgment Day. It's kind of just a basic rock and roll. It's not metal. It's not, it's not even Guns N' Roses. It's more, I don't know.
Madonna.
It would have more in common with Choir Boys, to be honest, than anything else. But great all the same. I was going to recommend. We had spoken about how it's kind of daunting with these bands that have like a catalog. You don't know where to start. He has a greatest hits album. It's just self-titled. And it's a compilation of these first 5 albums or these first 4 albums. And if you ever want to check him out, that I can recommend that greatest hits. I don't always recommend collections because, a lot of times the albums have fantastic deep cuts. But that really just hits the spot for me. So if you're ever curious about Gilby's solo work, there is a best of out there. It's like 14 tracks and it's the best of those first 4 albums. And it's really good. So there you go. Gilby Clarke. We know him. We love him.
Great shout. Greatest hit sometimes or something like that, or best of is the way to start it. Definitely. Okay, what you got then, Jam?
Okay, I'm going to go to another band that I'm not a massive fan of, and I really don't understand. I've said this. Look, I don't understand why they're so popular. And a lot of my friends love them as well. I don't get it. They're nothing special to me. They've done some good songs. They might appear later, but it's Avenged Sevenfold. I don't know why they're so popular. I really don't.
I like them.
It's from their first album. I don't even know how I know this song. I don't even know where I heard it, but it's a well, I suppose you call it a ballad. It's a piano-based song, basically, for the first half anyway. It's called, Sound of the Seventh Trumpet is their first album, and it's called Warmness of the Soul. And it's, like I say, it's piano-based. Brilliant vocals from it. I presume M Shadow sings it. First album, I don't know anything about it, but I presume it's him. He's got a great voice on this. It's fantastic. And then it speeds up towards the end and goes into a bit of a faster bit. It never really gets heavy, but it's certainly heavier. Yeah. And it's just the vocals for me. It's just one of them if you ever want to put an emotional type song on and just gets you, that's the one for me. Like I say, I haven't got a clue where I heard it because I haven't heard the rest of the album. I don't know. I don't know where
you've probably seen them at Download a few times because they've headlined that a few times.
Yeah, but I don't like them, so I've never seen them. I've never watched them. Right. I'm not a big fan, so don't know.
Well, you wouldn't even sit through a headline set. You dislike them that much.
Yeah, well, no, I think obviously at Download sometimes I was at second stage. Like I said, all my mates went to see him, said it was brilliant, but
I like them.
Don't get it.
I like them if that helps.
I like them too, actually.
I think they're a perfect mix of Maiden and Metallica.
That's what I mean. They're nothing new. They're nothing special. They're nothing unique.
But I mean, what they have got though is their musicianship is just fucking, like their guitaring especially is just mental. I mean, but you either like them or you don't. They are one of them bands though that people either fucking, they love them or they fucking hate them. And I think they had a bit of a reputation as well. Got in a bit of trouble a few times when they came to the UK in fights and stuff like that. And at the beginning and stuff, and they've got a bit of an attitude, I suppose. But sometimes that's what it takes, I suppose, in the music business.
They might have some. They might appear again. I do like some songs. I won't mention songs, but I do like some of them. They might appear. I've tried the albums. I've tried best ofs. It's just nothing. Just doesn't grab me. I think I supported Maiden on the. When they did that tour, they played at Twickenham. It was quite a while ago now. I think Rev was still on the drums then, before he obviously died. And yeah, they didn't go down particularly well then. So they obviously weren't that popular then. But then supporting Maiden, you know, it's always difficult, isn't it? So.
I think if anyone
Right.
wants to start with Avenged Sevenfold, Nightmare is a brilliant album, but the Hail
Yes,
to
that's
the
great. I like that song.
Hail to the King is probably the one where if you want just straight up metal, they went a little bit less because they're quite intricate, aren't they? That was a more of a straight up metal sort of album, that Hail to the King. If you wanted to check that out, anyway, I like them, but yeah, I can understand why
Well,
people.
that's, you know,
don't as well. But
the thing that Jam says about them, you don't understand. Like, they're fine, but you don't understand how they're huge. That's my feeling about Foo Fighters. I just, you know, they're fine. You know, they make some catchy songs, whatever. I don't understand how they're a stadium band. I just don't. It completely just.
Yeah,
I don't.
yeah. Yeah, I agree. You could see the Foo Fighters in a fucking back garden of a pub, as far as I'm concerned.
That's what I mean. Yeah, and there's nothing. You know, I don't particularly like them, but.
Yeah.
You know, their music, you know, is fine. They've written some catchy songs, but as you say, yeah, stadium band, I just don't.
Yeah, I agree. Anyway, thanks for getting that dig about the Foo Fighters. I'm going to see next year. Thank you very much.
And I like a lot as well, by the way. I like them.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Opinions are like assholes.
Exactly.
we're definitely assholes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to Judas Priest
Blimey.
with Tim
Praise
Ripper
the
Owens.
Lord.
Not,
Yeah,
but not with Halford, Jam. Not with Halford.
No, yeah.
So the second and final album with Tim Ripper Owens called Demolition, and the song is fucking brilliant. It's called Bloodsuckers. And Ripper Owens he's brilliant on this. So I won't talk about him too much though. Not Ripper. We know he's got a great voice, and of course he's on the new KK's Priest album, and he does a brilliant job on there again. So although this album for the time, I think they tried to go into that, they was getting caught up in the times a bit with the, you know, what was happening with musically, but this one is a straightforward metal, pure metal track, medium paced, perfect for me, riff heavy, just sounds huge, this song. I love it. So that's my review of it. Proper metal, Bloodsuckers from Demolition, Ripper Owens. Fucking fantastic. There you go. Priest, 3 times, by the way, made my list.
Amazing.
Amazing.
All right. Okay. Right. What you got then, Dom?
Okay. All right. What do I got? Oh, I've got a band that Jam likes quite a bit, The Almighty. This is from the album Psycho Narco, which was their 7th album overall. I believe it's the last one they ever did. They broke up for a while, but this is the second one after their reformation. So if that makes any sense. This song is called If I Knew What I Wanted. It's very punky. It's very fast and punky, but it's great. I really like it. I can't say the album is their strongest album, you know. Probably like, I don't know, I might like Crank the best. I don't know what my favorite would be. Yeah, I've never been able to talk about them on the channel here just because trying to fit them in with other things. So this is their last album. I want to at least give them a shout out for, you know, thanks for your years of hard work. Of course, we all know Ricky went on and had success with Black Star Riders and a few solo records and things like that. So he's still around, but they were a great band. Sadly, I never got to see him live just because they didn't have any presence in the States at all. So maybe someday they'll get back together and do a little tour or something, and I'll be there for sure. If not, though, this is it. This is their last album. So Psycho Narco is the album Almighty.
Cool. Cheers, mate. What you got in, Jan?
It's a bit of a change around. Dom's got all the British bands, being an American. I've got all American bands, and I'm English. It's not quite right.
Choir boys.
Anyway. Okay, going to we know we're getting towards the latter years now when we're talking bands like this. There's obviously Avenged Sevenfold previous. Now we're on Slipknot, second album from Iowa. A lot of fans' favourite. Good, great songs on here. I'm going with Left Behind, which is obviously track 8.
Track, yeah.
Great track, great video. Just this album is probably my favourite album. I do like the first album. The first album is very, very full on, though. It's quite hard to listen to the first album. Love, obviously, I had Wait and Bleed on my last list, but this album's probably slightly more chilled out, but still very hard. It's got Heretic Anthem on here, People Equal Shit, and My Plague are earlier tracks that pretty good. But this one, stands out for me. Left Behind, and I say the videos and the mask. Yeah, it's just, I suppose, the height of Slipknot. I suppose they're still massively popular now, of course. And I really did like the last album they did, and I saw them on that tour as well as Download, and really sort of got back into them again fairly recently. But great album from great album, Iowa.
Fucking creepy album cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scary.
Fucking black metal goat. Fucking hell. Anyway, yeah, it's great. I think I got into Slipknot a bit later than this. This was still a bit too heavy for me, because they sort of really chilled out, didn't they, on the next couple of albums, which I thought were really great. I think with Slipknot, there's more and more songs on an album that I like the longer that the band went on for. I think they went a bit too heavy again for me on the last one. It went sort of back a bit.
I really like that.
Yeah, but the middle ones were pretty good. Okay, this ain't exactly Slipknot. It's Joe Lynn Turner. So he bought an album out called Slam, which I've had to actually go and visit this album. Never heard it before. So this song's called Show Yourself. Now, man, his voice though is just so soulful. I've always loved Joe Lynn Turner's voice, whoever he's sung for. He even gave some melody to fucking Ingrid Malmsteen. There you go. So, you know what I mean? This is even a little bit funky, this one. So you wouldn't say it's something that I would particularly love, but as soon as his vocals come in, he just turns a song on its head. It's just brilliant. It's a bit rocky, upbeat. It's quite fun, actually. It's quite a heavy guitar song, but just his vocals alone, man. I just love him. He's for Rainbow, I think he was touching close to my favourite singer, even though Ronnie Dio was there. I just think he brought something completely different. Some of my Joe Lynn Turner songs from Rainbow are my favourites. I just think he's brilliant. Absolutely, what a soulful voice he's got. Fantastic. So Joe Lynn Turner, Show Yourself from Slam. There you go.
Cool.
Track 9, guys. Yeah, love brilliant.
I would bet money that Joe Lynn Turner probably had Japanese money behind it, and that's how he got to make these records.
yeah, exactly.
Or bet money. Good for them and him. Yeah. Okay, number 9 for me is a band. It was on. I got their first album on one of the lists, but they're still making records. Masters of Reality. This is their 4th album overall. Now, by this point, it's just the lead guy named Chris Goss, who at this point had become kind of the whole desert stoner scene. He's kind of seen as kind of like a godfather. He had produced a couple of Kyuss albums, and he also produced a couple of the really huge Queens of the Stone Age albums as well. So he's kind of a desert rock guru by this point. This is a good album, though. It's mainly acoustic based. It's not like a riffy rocker, but he knows how to create a mood. And I love his voice. And this song is called Roof of the Shed. The album's called Deep in the Hole. Just creates it's basically a song about somebody losing their mind. But somehow he makes it a bit creepy but whimsical at the same time. It's a difficult feat, but he does it. So yeah, Master of Reality, Chris Goss.
Cool. Very cool. Loads of different types of music being mentioned on this one. Love it. Absolutely love it. Okay, what you got in, Jam?
Well, that's another band that I don't understand. They're so big. Queens of the Stone Age. I think they're awful. I think they're terrible. That's just my point of opinion. Anyway, I do like Kyuss though. I do like Kyuss. I just don't like Queen of the Stone Age. Anyway, changing the subject completely. Going Megadeth, one of the big bands. Well, not big, but a classic band. This is from World Needs a Hero album, and this song is called Dread and the Fugitive Mind. Or should I call it Sweating Bullets? Because it's pretty much very, very, very similar to Sweating Bullets. It's got that same sort. I mean, sorry, we're going in context here. This came out after Risk. The Risk album, which obviously got University panned when they decided to try and risk it all by changing their style. This has gone back to like a cross between sort of Countdown to Extinction, Holy Wall, Rust in Peace type times, and this is like Sweating Bullets from that album. It's got that same sort of stop-start bass thing in it, but I think it's probably slightly heavier actually, and it's got a brilliant thrashy bit in the middle, the double bass drums going and all that. And it's it was hailed as a bit of a return to form. It's not one of their classic albums. They have played this song a few times and fairly recently, but but it's by no means one of their best albums, but it's certainly returned to what we know now. In fact, they're heavier now than they were at this stage. Obviously, new Megadeth albums are really, really good. Dystopia was brilliant. Looking forward to the new one coming out. So
yeah,
there you go.
Coming out soon apparently. So looking forward to that one. Okay, mate. I'm going to Savatage. So their last album with John Oliver was actually back in the band at this point. So he done it, which was pretty cool. He's my favourite vocalist for Savatage. He's got such a great voice. This is a song called Surrender from Poets and Madmen. And it's just typical Savatage. It's 6+ minutes of epic metal with piano, heavy riffs, and those menacing vocals from John Oliver. So just, it's a bit of an epic album, actually. It's got everything from that sort of classic Savatage days, you know, but when he was in the band, just came right back and it just sounded as good as ever. So Savatage and Surrender. Check it out. It's great.
I actually have to say that I listened to this album in preparation for this list. And I really like some of it. I didn't realize that John Oliver was back. So that kind of makes sense then, because I listened to it and I thought, well, this is great. What a terrible cover though.
Like that blue bird on it.
But like the lettering and stuff, it just looks like somebody did it on a computer, and it just looks, doesn't have their logo or anything. It's very odd, but
they're very
the
odd.
music is good.
Look at the covers they've had and all, like Hall of the Mountain King, Gutter Ballet. And...
great stuff. Yeah, really good stuff. Anyway, I don't know why, but okay, there you go. Okay, 10 for me. We are on 10, right? Is it 10?
Yep.
Okay, 10. Saxon, still doing it.
Yeah.
This is their 15th album.
Don't let that put you off. They're fucking excellent.
In 2001. Their 15th album.
Fuck
so that means they just have about 10 more after this as well. But listen, I don't think they have a Duff album. I really don't. They never went, completely what they don't know or anything. They never had their new metal or their grunge album or whatever. But what I will say is this song, it's called Shadows on the Wall, and the album is called Killing Ground. This song is a bit different for them. It's almost dehumanizer-y as far as really heavy riff, but still melodic, I'd compare it to maybe After All, where it goes into that great chorus, but it's still really fucking heavy. It's got kind of that feel, just kind of a dirgy doom, if you like, riff. But with Biff's vocals on it, he still sounds great on here. Really great track, Shadows on the Wall. So Killing Ground. Can't say enough about Saxon keeping the faith through all these years.
Definitely, mate. Very cool indeed. Right, what you got then, Jam? Another British band, by the way, Jam?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Another American band for me, or solo artist, I guess you call them. Yeah, it's Rob Zombie with Sinister Urge album. And it's the song Scum of the Earth, which is a great title, of course. And it's typical Rob Zombie. The sort of, I'll say funky, the sort of beats and the drum beats and the choruses and the verses. It gets you up and jumping, It's not. They're never going to win awards for songwriting, are they? It's just this Rob Zombie is what you give is what you get, sort of thing. And this song is brilliant. They always play it live. Scum of the Earth. It's only about 3 minutes long. A few good tracks on there. Damien Speeding's on this one, and Never Gonna Stop, which are obviously live classics as well. And he always plays this when I've seen him, and you can guess what the chorus goes, can't you?
I'll tell you what, though, he might not win any awards for his lyrics, but he should do for his filmmaking, for sure. Of Jam's Friday night listens.
I'm not taking your bait, Lee Spencer. I'm not taking your bait.
Listen to Jam's Friday night party listens. Die, motherfucker, die, you scum of the earth. I mean,
quality. Yeah.
It's good, isn't it?
And also, I need to mention that, of course, he got Scum of the Earth. It's a 60s horror exploitation film. So we all know how much he loves that. And that's the title of a film in the 60s. So.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool. See, Dom's here for the
learning,
for the learning for the films as well. So that's quite cool.
Because I'm old.
Yeah, we all are, mate. Don't worry about that. Okay. Track 10 for me going to a bit of southern rock now. So
Southern boogie.
yeah,
Boogie.
this ain't exactly boogie though. This is
well, at least we got you to say it once.
exactly. So we've got Van Zant, which is obviously Johnny Van Zant and his brother Donny Van Zant. Johnny and Donny.
Johnny and Donny.
I don't know why. Why am I thinking of Billy and Johnny with the fucking dungarees? I don't know why I'm thinking of that. But if you're too young for that. Oh, you Jam's too young for that.
I am way too young for that. Yeah.
Anyway, so this is like a ballad, but very epic southern feel, actually, obviously, with some really cool orchestral sort of parts over it. It's really heartfelt, actually. Very, I mean, to take Jam's word earlier on, beautiful song. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, it's got, as I was flicking through, because this isn't one that I had heard before, so I was looking through the album, got a lot of like positive stuff. It's got a lot of views as well. It must have been sort of in the southern rock hemisphere, I suppose. Quite well known. People use it for weddings and shit like that. Do you know what I mean? So it's a very, very cool song indeed. So Van Zant, Alive, from the Van Zant 2 album, by the way. Sorry, because there was one before this. So there you go.
I was going to say, yeah, because you had this before 2 years ago, didn't you? Or a couple years back, you had one of their tunes. So
yes, right.
must be Van Zant 2.
Van Zant 2, yes, exactly. I think the first one might have been Johnny on his own. So obviously getting his brother in for Van Zant 2, I think.
Well, you did mention that it was 2 brothers the last time.
Oh.
Because then we talked about, was it Ronnie that was in the crash? So it's Ronnie, Johnny, and Donnie. Whatever. Yeah, that's it.
Ronnie,
I remember the conversations that you don't, Lee Spencer.
You're right, because I've had to go back, obviously, and listen to some of this stuff. I'm not well versed, but when I hear a good song, and it's great. Alive is absolutely fantastic. We're up to track 11, guys. This would be over, but Jam said it's 12 tracks.
Track 11 is from one of my favorite bands, Backyard Babies. This is their second major label album. This is pretty close to a 10 out of 10 album for me, I have to say. They just have a lot of their well-known songs on this album that they still play live. Brand New Hate and I Like to Roll and The Colors and just a ton of them they still play whenever you go see them. This song is number 11. I kind of saved it for 11 because I knew that every song was good, so I didn't have to worry about it. It's called Too Tough to Make Some Friends, and the album is called Making Enemies is Good. And it's great. You know, I love that band. I think I talked at length about them before. They've got connections to the Helicopters and Wild Hearts, and did the Wild Hearts album with the Super Shit. What's it called? Super Shit 666 with Ginger from Wild Hearts. So it's all kind of incestuous scene, but it's just bare bones, great, catchy rock and roll. So there you go.
Very cool.
Backyard.
Very cool. Rock and roll. You've got mentioned that a few times.
Fantastic
rock. I love it. Rock and roll. Okay. What you got in, Jam, for your number 11, mate?
Okay, we're going to a band who once again will only appear today and never again. And this album was massive at the time, and that is Stained from the Break the Cycle album. Track 11 is Outside. I think this band, Aaron Nurse, I believe is the singer, is really good at the slower stuff. When they do the heavier stuff, I don't think it's anything particularly special. I did listen to this album at the time, but this song Outside, I mean, I wanted to have Epiphany, which is my favorite song. I think it's track 5 or 6. I love that song. That's definitely a Friday, Saturday night song towards the end of the night that comes on, because his singing is just so good on it. He's a great singer. I don't particularly like his politics. I know he's a bit outspoken and been doing some country singing as well, hasn't he? He's been a bit of a knob by the sounds of it, called to Blabbermouth. So I won't go into that. But this song is brilliant. Outside, it was a big hit. I actually think I think it's a bonus track with Fred Durst, a live version. Fred Durst, our favourite man, comes on and they do a sort of duet. But it's good. I like it. Probably a bit dated now, I guess you'd say. This sort of music doesn't really go on much anymore. But I think I've seen Stained. I think they played a download. I'm pretty sure I saw him. It was a long time ago, perhaps one of the early 2010s, something like that, a while ago, a while after this even. But they did play this, I think. Yeah, it's just an old song I remember from back in the time. This is one I remember from 2000 quite clearly, so 2001 even.
I'm
Yeah.
on the outside, I'm looking in. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Get those
actually
lighters out. Yeah.
yeah, Fred Durst, he made sure he sang the low parts on this. I remember on the video when I saw it. the bits that I could probably sing. But there you go. Right, okay, yeah, great track, mate. Remember that one. I used to love that song, actually. Very cool indeed. Okay, I'm going to Joshua Pariah, who is the guitarist from the band that I mentioned before called Joshua. So they were an 80s Christian band. I've got the album up there somewhere. So yeah, this is his album called Something to Say and the song called Steady Weapon. So it does sound a bit different from the 80s stuff, the melodic sort of AOR sort of melodic rock stuff. This is more along the lines of sort of classic rock, you know, from a bit earlier, I suppose. Great vocalist. Never heard of the vocalist before, but I had to look up who it was because I was just so impressed with his vocal. Someone called Jerry Gabriel. Just a really powerful, just fitting straight in with that classic rock sort of sound. Great guitar. He's a brilliant guitarist. Sometimes plays the really speedy stuff, but not so much on this one. It's a slow song, but it's not a ballad because of the way it feels. The way it feels, it's just the speed of the song. But it's an excellent song. Joshua Pariah, Steady Weapon. There you go.
Cool, man. I bet he is so happy that you are mentioning him on a video show in 2021.
Yeah.
Well, I'm actually Facebook friends with him somehow. But
are you?
Yeah, but I've.
Well, you should post this on your page and then tag him in the comments or something. And
I might do that.
But he knows that you're talking about him, and he's got to be chuffed because it can't happen very often. I'm sure, you know.
Well, yeah, I won't tell him where we mentioned it as well, so he has to watch the whole hour and a half.
Of course, he has to watch the whole thing.
You'll mention.
Thank God it's track 11. He's going to have to get through everything.
Exactly. Okay.
All right.
We're up to the last one, guys.
Wow. We did it. Okay. This is a band that had a lot of potential when they came out. They've really made some bad choices recently, but I still kind of have a soft spot in my heart, but I'm not proud of it. This is Buckcherry. Their second album, Time Bomb. Now they broke up after this for a while. I don't know if a lot of people know that they actually split for a good few years. Then their third album after the split had that crazy bitch song, and then that's how everybody got to know them. But they actually had 2 records, split for a good amount of time, and then carried on. So it's a bit weird. Anyway, this song's called Fall. It's a good, fast-paced rocker. I do like his voice when he's singing a decent song, you know. But they've done like rap covers and shit, and a lot of stuff I don't approve of whatsoever. Buckcherry, but when they rock, they're good, you know. This is a great, really. It's pretty heavy and it's pretty fast, but a good riff. Yeah, it's good. So it's tough for me to recommend Buckcherry, but especially in the early days, these first couple records, they kind of had their shit together. It didn't work out until they kind of revamped
bad decisions. When they made their bad decisions, it was better for them.
Yeah. So, but they're more of a cohesive band, I think, for these first 2 albums that were on Geffen. So there you go, Buckcherry. Cool. I probably won't talk about them again, but I don't know. Never say never. I might.
Never say never. No.
Very cool, mate. Very cool for your last track. What you got then, Jan?
Well, I'm wondering whether we might have the same track here, possibly. Us two, I mean, obviously. And that is, well, obviously not then, maybe, but it's full new metal again, and a band who are once again unique. There's no other band that sounds like this. It's System of a Down from, and it's the title track from Toxicity. What can I say? This is their classic album, if you like. They've only done 4 albums. I mean, in all this history, they've only ever done 4 albums. They haven't released anything for about 15 years. And I think, I don't know whether Mesmerised and Hypnotised was 2010, maybe earlier than that. But this is the classic one. They'll play most of their set will come from this album. I think they'll play a couple of the first album. They'll do some off the other 2 albums. But Toxicity is a great song. This album's full of them. Chop Suey, Bounce, Aerials, they're all on here. It's not, I don't think it's actually the last song. I think there's a song after this.
There's a lot more
13
songs
or
in this.
14.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
14, I think,
Yeah.
14 or 15, something like that.
So,
yeah.
a long album, but I mean, once again, as we just said, it's of a time. System of a Down. They don't sound out of date, but you know, they were big then. They can still headline Download. I'm not sure about that. I was a bit disappointed when they were put on the bill again. They're not on there now, of course, but fans still like them. They're still popular among the younger people. Younger, I say younger, they're probably younger than us, but perhaps 30-year-olds. I suppose they are now. But yeah, great song, Toxicity. Sort of a slow one. Slower, really slow sort of verses, then obviously the heavy chorus, later on faster chorus. So there you go.
I saw him at Download. I thought they were good. He was really subdued. I don't know if he's always like that, the vocalist. I don't know if he's always like that on stage, but he's almost sort of like speaking rather than singing out or moving around. He was very subdued. I don't know if that's what they're like normally.
It seems like they hate each other and they get together to do festivals to pay the mortgage.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just from a non-fan, reading stuff. They can't get together and make a new record because they don't agree on anything. They don't agree on politics. They don't agree on songwriting. They don't agree on anything, but they'll still come over and do festivals because they can barely stand each other for a couple of weeks. I've
got to say that made me laugh. Where they are such a political band, as you know.
And they're opposite.
And the drummer, ain't a fucking Trump fan.
Came out and said he was like a yeah.
Just hilarious.
Pretty funny.
Next it'll be Zach De La Rocha's fucking Trump fan next. You know what you watch?
well, it won't be Zach. It'll be like the drummer or something.
Yeah,
the bass player. Yeah.
That's fucking brilliant. At least he had the bollocks to come out and say it. I mean, it must have been, you know what I mean? Fuck me. I was tinkering with that song actually, Jam. I really was. I wanted another song, which we can't talk about because it was later on the album, which is my favorite song from them. But I'll talk about that in the honorable mentions. But and then I had this song, and then I thought you might have it or something, another one of their songs. I thought, no, I'm going to go for something that's a bit more less known. So this band actually are on a bill that you sent me. Dom, you sent me a message about a rock festival in Sweden, didn't you?
Right, yeah. Eclipse and Bjorn and Dirk Schneider and Michael Monroe for me. It's great.
Yeah, so this band actually appear on that bill. Gothard, who are a Swiss band.
Gothard.
Yeah, so they're a Swiss band, the second Swiss band actually, I just realised on my list. And I did get into this band a little bit when I was tinkering back into the sort of proper rock back in the day, but didn't listen to the albums, an awful lot. So I had to go back and thought, right, let's listen to some more stuff from Gothard. The album's called Home Run and it's the title track. And it is a ballad. And the vocalist, man, sadly died, Steve Lee, who's got a great voice. He died in 2010, actually, motorbike accident, which is... Yeah, really bad. He's got a real sort of husk to his voice. This is a brilliant ballad. They're really big in their home country. It's sold over 2 million albums up to this point. I mean, that's a lot, isn't it, considering this sort of this stage of their career, and then like no albums are sold now, basically, are they? But they're a hard rock band, just in that, just do everything melodic, and this is their fifth album, actually, Home Run. So they've been going quite a while, but he's got a great voice, and I think he's really well respected. Obviously, when someone dies as well, they become even more godlike, don't they? But he's got a great voice as he is, but now he's looked upon as an absolute brilliant singer. But Gothard, Home Run, it might be the only time they appear on my list, but it's one of them bands that I'd have to go back, and I haven't got time to go back, but they're brilliant. They've got really consistent music. So there you go.
Yeah, they're very similar to Pink Cream 69, where they started kind of early the mid 90s, and just released just quality stuff all through through the years. It's amazing. But
totally right there, mate. Okay, that's our 12. We've got any quick honourable mentions? We've actually just only hit hour and 25 minutes, so I ain't doing too bad.
Holy shit. Okay, I don't have much. I do want to mention, I kind of avoided this because I thought that you would have it, Mr. Lee Spencer, but this is a band called Ark that Bjorn sang on.
Yeah.
As you say, this is very this is almost progressive metal, but a good record all the same. I didn't dive completely into it because I thought, well, you might have something. the main, there's a couple of the big ones for me. The Cult had their reunion album, I guess, after they had broken up for a few years, Beyond Good and Evil. It's not a 10 out of 10 for me. Definitely some good tracks on there, but I've talked about them quite a bit. Then the other big one that I didn't talk about was there was a Winger Very Best Of came out this year, and it had one new track. So it was the first like Winger band material in, I don't know, nearly 10 years or something. So that was kind of a big deal. And the cut is good. It's called On the Inside. And it was track one of the best of. The best of was cool because it started at the later stuff and then went older rather than the other way around. So
Cool.
all your big hits were towards the end. But yeah, so they that was their kind of tiny steps in the water to actually getting back together. And I think then the full albums came out maybe 2 or 3 years after that. But
I think I need the Ark. I think I need to listen to that because that's like for Jorn Londe fans as well. That's one of his classic albums, actually, isn't it?
I think this is their second album as well.
Yeah, I
The
mean,
second Ark album. But yeah,
there's definitely two sides of Jorn Londe, aren't there? The progressive side, like you just spoken about, and I spoke about earlier on, and then getting more into the sort of true metal stuff later.
the Whitesnake, stuff.
Very cool indeed. What you got then, Jan?
Yeah, I've got a few actually. This is a good year for me actually. Some good songs. The ones I was struggling with at track 2, by the way, was Drowning Pool, Bodies from the album Sin. I love that song as well. That's another classic rock club one that I can have. And Andrew WK with Party Hard. I quite like that song from I Get Wet. I don't know what Andrew WK is exactly, but it's just a.
I don't know, but he needs to sort his fucking washing machine out. That's what I fucking.
It does, yeah. Sort his nose out as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, a few albums. Annihilator had Carnival Diablos, not a bad album, but couldn't get anything off it. Talked about Machine Head. They had Supercharger out. This is when they're tinkering sort of still new metalish, not one of their better ones. It wasn't really until they did the Blackening where they started becoming what we know now as, apart from their first album, when they're back to the sort of the proper pure thrash. Not really heavy rock, but I want to mention it because it was brilliant at the time. I loved it. Mick Jagger brought out Goddess in the Doorway. Solo album, and it's just had some classic songs on it. I don't know if you're a fan of the Stones, obviously it's a rocking album, worth checking out if you like Mick Jagger. Monster Magnet, God Save No.
I reckon Dom does a good impression. Can you just get up and do your Jagger impression across the back bit?
Yeah, you'll have to watch an older episode to get that.
Oh yeah, you did do it, didn't you? You did. That's why I'm thinking.
Yeah, well, I was sitting down, but yeah, I did the
Sorry, mate. Go on in, James.
All right, Sebastian Bach had Back to Basics, which has a lot of cover versions. There's loads of Ozzy. I think it's a Maiden track. There's Rush tracks. There's Led Zeppelin and Kiss tracks. If you want a few cover versions, that's there. Those two are mentioned. Stone Temple Pilots, Shangri-La Dee Da, not my favourite one. Tenacious D album come out. People like that. And the big one that we've got to mention, and everyone will probably hate us, is Lateralus by Tool come out. But
yeah. So I've got Avantasia and Edguy. I might as well put them together. Tobias Sammet. The Metal Opera was Avantasia. Was it part 1 or part 2? One of them. Anyway, because he had
I think it's part 2, this one.
Part 2, yeah. Edguy had Mandrake out. I did have Ozzy written down. I was going to get into that. I did have Tool written down. Lateralis, whatever you call it. Whatever. I mean, there was a couple of good songs on there that I liked, but I think it's one of them bands, and I even did it with the last album. I loved it for a little while, and then I don't know, just veered off very quickly. So that's saying something, isn't it? When when things don't stick around too long. Stan Bush had an album out as well. Language of the Heart, that was called. I didn't delve into that. Stan Bush got a great voice, by the way. I love this stuff he did earlier on in the 80s and stuff, or late 80s, early 90s. Wasp. Am I getting it wrong? Did they have Unholy Terror out that year?
I forgot to mention that one. I was on my list. I just didn't read it out.
It's only because no one said Wasp, Unholy Terror. I thought I might have got the wrong year or something stupid like that. But obviously not. It's sort of better now when you look back. When you listen to them, when you go back, it's better than it was at the time. It's one of them, isn't it? With the Wasp albums. You think it got a lot of shit, but it weren't that bad. It was actually okay. Some good tracks. So, and I wanted to put on my favourite System of a Down album, but I think it's track 14, which was Aerials.
Yeah, great song, yeah.
I mean, that's that's them doing things a bit more serious. That's them being a bit Sabbathy, even sort of with some doomy riffs and stuff like that. I love this. The video is fucking brilliant as well. You've got the kid with the weird looking kid. Sorry, that's probably bad saying that. I think he's got something wrong with him. But there you go. His eyes are like too far. Sorry to anyone who's watching with eyes really fucking wide. What's wrong with him anyway, Don? Do you know what's wrong with that little kid?
Like I've seen that video, please.
He looks like an alien. But I think
Like I've watched the System of a Down video. Come on.
if you want to watch one song, watch Aerial.
No, I
You like
don't.
it.
That's the point. La, 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 la. That's the
No,
only thing I know about System of a Down.
Yeah,
That's it.
there's nothing about that on. There's none of that on this. That's why it's their best song. That's why it's their best
Mhm.
song. It's,
Okay.
it's sort of medium pace, slow to medium pace, doomy,
Yeah.
Sabbathy. That's what
I've
it
got
is.
plenty of other music to.
All right, guys.
I've got 23 Pink Cream 69 albums to check out.
Yeah, exactly. I've got-
25 Saxon albums.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. 25 seconds.
Well, I already know those, to be fair.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I can't wait till the new Saxon album comes out. I know they did a weird cover version thing a little while ago. I wasn't too interested.
Oh
in it.
God,
I
that was
wanna-
terrible.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
Yeah, the Biff Byford album weren't bad, but I want to hear some new Saxon stuff. Really, that's what I want to hear. Because then I could just forget about all the old stuff and listen to the new stuff and get to know it. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Anyway,
And not listen to the Inner Sanctum from 1998 or whatever.
yeah, even though they were getting really good at that stage, because I've heard bits and pieces. Anyway, okay, brilliant show again, guys. 2001, and it's getting better and better for me anyway. So there you go. All right.
Cool.
Great to have you on, guys. As much fun as usual. And see you for 2002.
Everybody.